pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. That was the only time I could. Gonzaga was tied. It was at the Pledge of Allegiance last night.
Wow.
Well, it wasn't as good as the last
That wasn't fun one.
game.
Unless
Okay,
you're a Baylor fan.
let the record show all members are present. After discussion was held by the board, a motion was made and seconded to approve the consent agenda. Does, you want to make a motion to approve, B and C in full, A for discussion?
Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay, you're making a motion to approve B and C?
Yes.
I'll second that.
Okay, Supervisor Wickman, Supervisor Schultz, thank you. All in favor of approving the consent agenda items B and C, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. Hearing none, motion passes. Now, the minutes from March 30th as read.
I'd like to bring it up to the board and see if they would concur. I made a motion, it was seconded by Justin Schultz, to pay for the window shades and the furniture out of the gaming fund. I'd like to amend the minutes to say out of the general fund, the B wing furniture line item. Those are funds that were provided back to the county from our mental health region.
Yeah, I'll agree to that change.
Okay. We need a motion for that? Melvin?
Who cares?
Yeah, I thought you did. Wickman, I got Wickman motion moved, Schultz second.
That was the consent agenda.
Right.
This is to amend the.
We're talking item A,
Yeah.
To amend the minutes. Okay, and.
I'll make that motion.
Tim made that motion.
I'll second it.
And Justin seconded.
Okay, thank you.
Any discussion?
Nope.
Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, like sign. Hearing none, motion passes. So we'll amend those minutes. Okay. There we go, the script. Okay, we got Matt White, Planning and Zoning Director, and Pam Callstrip, Acting Director. Approve second consideration of ordinance 2120, an ordinance to amend the official zoning map of Potawatomi County, Iowa by changing the district designation of approximately 5 acres from Class A2 agricultural production to Class C1 highway commercial district, and to adopt ordinance number 21-02 into law.
I'll make the motion. I'll second it.
Shea, Supervisor Shea, Supervisor Groby. Discussion. This is our one and only hotel that we have in rural Pot County, ain't it?
It will be. I think it's, it's an exciting project to see happen. It was, kind of born off of the palace that they created out there with an old agricultural barn. It's become quite the event center, and they've had great success with that. And I think this was just gonna be a nice addition to it. It will have still kind of that agricultural feel, because like he showed you in the diagrams, he's meant to do this out of silos. And then, so there will be, just so the board is aware, I'm sure, when you go to construct a hotel out of silos, there's gonna be some building code challenges that we will work through with Mr. Buckingham as they rise up. But in all, I think it's gonna be a really good project.
Okay. Any other discussion? No. Roll call?
Chairman Bell.
Aye.
Supervisors Groby. Yes. Wickman.
Aye.
Schultz.
Aye.
And Shea.
Aye.
Okay, next up, approve and sign Potawatomi County subaward agreement to provide federal assistance from the HMGP 4421DR. The motion
I'll move that for you, Scott.
Okay,
I'll second.
okay. Motion by Supervisor Wickman, seconded by Supervisor Shea. Thank you. Discussion now?
So this is a part of our 2019 flood recovery. We have been awarded a portion of funds that will allow us to purchase 8 properties and demo them. They will become a part of our county-owned flood properties that we have, that we will survey out each year. And it's just a part of the process and the steps, so.
What do we think and probably take possession in 2022 or 2023?
We're hoping to be around the June. What's
Think is
that?
that this June?
I'm saying June, Pam's saying hopefully fall,
This year?
yeah.
Oh, really?
Well, the contract has a completion date of 12/23,
Right.
so could take 2.5 years.
Well, that's all I was saying. We weren't able to do it that fast after 11, were we?
No,
I think once the process got going, it went fairly rapid.
Okay. Are all the ones still on board, the ones that are, okay. Any other discussion? Hearing none, this is just a call vote. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Those opposed, like sign. Hearing none, motion passes. Okay, third is approve and sign Omaha Council Bluffs Metro Area Planning Agency agreement for services on the Potawatomi County Acquisition Project, HMGP 4421DR. Motion?
I'll make that motion.
Okay. Supervisor Shea,
I'll second.
Supervisor Groby, thank you. Discussion?
So working with the state, we are allowed to either have a county employee or a COG service this grant that we have here for the cost of 5% of what we were awarded. And we reached out to Don Gross of Napa, who's here today. They're doing the Mills County and Pacific Junction piece of it, and we thought that they would be able to help us out with this part as well, so.
Is there a requirement to put these services out for bid?
Not if we use a county employee or a COG.
So is there a particular reason you didn't put it out for bid?
At the time, we have a really good working relationship with Don and his group, and so we just reached out to them directly. We had put it out for bid, in 2011, it went out for bid, and we didn't get any response from it, so I guess I was much anticipating kind of the same response for the 2019.
And for the CDBG funding that will pay for the county's 15% portion, we have to use a COG. So Don is doing that for us on that portion. And part of that is procuring the services, well, populating them into the CDBG grant. So he was familiar with that portion also.
Those two aren't tied together though, are they?
Well, the services, the demo costs, the legal fees, et cetera, those have to, if I'm saying this correctly, have to be put into the other grant portion, and that has to be done by a COG. So no, they're two different grants.
They're FEMA funds, right?
Well, FEMA funds is the HMGP,
Right.
and then the other one is economic development.
Okay. So how much money did they allow us for those services to do the acquisition all the way through to the demolition?
Well, for the services contract, it was 36,000.
So on the subboard agreement on the front page, Management costs shall not exceed $33,392, or 5% of the federal allowable costs.
So that's the management cost. Then each property, it's $12,000 per demo, $2,000 for legal services, once they're procured.
So they allowed us $33,000 for those services.
For
Right?
the contract, for the management services.
Right, and what's MAPPA's cost,
$4,500 per property.
which totals to,
Not to exceed 36,000.
what are you gonna cost that other $3,000? Pam?
Well, I've had discussions with Homeland Security about that, so,
Make it the same as your amount in your HMG contract.
What was that?
Amend the contract to include that. Was it 33?
33,392.
Not to exceed 33.
Yeah, not to exceed 33,392.
Okay, 33. Okay. Any other?
Yeah, basically it should read 4,000 property, not to exceed that 33 number.
What was the number, 33,392?
So it should be services rendered in the amount of 4,000?
Yeah.
Okay, is this contract came from MAPPA? So you wanna send us over a new front page, I guess?
We can.
Okay. And then not to exceed, is it 8 times 4, is that what we're doing?
You can do it that way too.
32,000?
or not to exceed the amount that Homeland Security, or that the grant is allowing,
Yeah, what's that? amount?
33,392.
Okay, not to exceed the 33, so that is not right, that number. Okay, 3392. Okay,
I do understand on the whole issue of procurement, we do have to procure for abstracted services. We have to procure for legal services. We have to procure for asbestos survey, asbestos abatement, and demolition. So we would want to do that right away. We would pre-bid all this stuff, including the abatement and the demolition. That way we can then, as Pam had indicated, deal with real numbers that we can populate an application to get the 25% match with the Department of Economic Development.
so these will be done, those services that you talked about will be done as a package?
Yep.
Okay. So you're hoping to get one demolition guy to bid all 8 of them and do them?
In 2011, they bid out groups of 10.
Okay,
So I don't think you'd have an issue. I don't think it'll be an issue finding somebody to tear down 8.
8 of them.
And then you're gonna put it out for bid for all the legal fees and all?
Yep. Yeah, we'll prepare all those RFPs, get them to Pam, get them published, get them out there. The asbestos abatement and the demo will probably bid on a unit basis and award it on a lump sum basis. So if we buy 3 properties, we can authorize a demolition contractor to proceed to that 90 days to remove them. If we've got a couple that are lagging, we'll, we worry a great deal about the 90 days.
What's
In
your,
another portion of this, Don is going to, he has to come up with an administrative plan, which we'll have to get to you to approve. And that includes a appeal process, which I think we may have one property that may appeal their appraisal value, so. That they have up until closing to, drop out or appeal. Once they are made the offer, then they have to have an appeal process, so
Right.
MAPPA would take care of that as well.
Don, what's your schedule?
Oh, my schedule is pretty busy.
No, I mean-
Yeah.
For these,
Oh.
for this project?
Oh, I really haven't, figured out, let's see, it's April. We should be able to do the RFPs for legal services, the asbestos survey, abstracting, I would say April, May, and have that resolved by the end of May. I'd like to think we could be in a position of, if necessary, doing asbestos abatement bids and the demolition bids probably in June, July.
Have you been, or don't take this negatively, have you been involved in property acquisition in Mills and Fremont?
Not Fremont, we are handling the property acquisition for Pacific Junction. We're scheduled to buy, I think 121, 131, something like that.
Have any of those been actually, are you moving forward with those?
Yeah, we're, got 40 acquired. We've got 10 probably scheduled, maybe next week, hopefully. One of the challenges there is, obviously Pacific Junction is not a large town and it cannot cash flow the project, so it has to get advanced money, which it makes it a little bit more difficult to predict. So.
One final question.
Yep.
How many of those homes that you had the asbestos inspection done had asbestos? Any?
I want to say at least a third, but not less than a half. I think a lot will depend upon the age of the structure too.
Any other questions?
The only thing I would say, once we get the costs and we can populate the appropriate worksheets with the Department of Economic Development, it sounds like the CDBG funds that the state has been awarded for the disaster-related counties would be opened up maybe in about a year to do additional acquisitions if you so desire. I don't know how competitive an application would be. But they've got about 30 million, I think they budgeted for acquisition. And their first phase was to do the match for Mills and Fremont counties. The second is adding other jurisdictions in the disaster area, that's, Pot County. And then the third would be just buying with 100% CDBG funds.
Don, I got a question. When we do find asbestos, where do the additional funds come from?
Oh, it'll come out of the demolition.
Is there enough in there for that?
12,000.
Is that,
12,000 per home is what?
is the asbestos
Just the demolition.
total?
Total.
With the asbestos removal?
Yeah,
I mean, there's not a separate amount that says for asbestos. It's a demolition cost, 12,000.
yeah,
There's 120,000 in there for demolition.
So that's more
Yeah, I've
than
seen
our
that.
8.
But I know when they do find asbestos, costs go up.
yeah, I've seen it. It ranges some $500 just because they've got I don't care if it's 10 square feet, they still have to file
Okay,
certain things, they still have to, send staff, you've got your,
okay.
so there's a
you feel
base price. I'd be surprised if you get something over several thousand.
Okay,
It'll average out. And like when we did the 2011 flood, and we did those properties, there was properties that had it, there was properties that didn't. And so it didn't end up costing us any more.
all right.
So if we get additional money for houses down the road, is this automatically locked in with MAPPA for the, or is that a separate?
That's been-
a
It'll be a
Separate.
separate
It'll be a
project.
different
So
grant,
this is just strictly
different.
for the ones that we are.
For these first 8.
Any other questions?
No, I just, the only statement I want to make is I guess I would just prefer that I don't find out about it in the meeting, that we're moving forward with this route. I wish we would have had conversations outside of this, you know. I don't think the result's gonna end differently today whatsoever, but I just wish that, I really would have liked to have conversations from your department with me specifically on it before we came to the meeting about it.
As far as
As
who
far as
we,
like whether we're gonna move forward with a contractor or an employee was gonna handle it, or whether, you know, this is basically the first time I'm hearing about it is when I got the packet last week. And just
Yeah, we'll keep you informed on the way forward.
want a heads up.
Okay, anything else?
Good.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, those opposed, like sign, hearing none, motion passes. Okay, Rob Ambrose, Lieutenant Sheriff's Office, discussion and decision to
Thanks,
set
you guys.
public hearing, yep. Date for public hearing on the plan specification, form of contract, and estimate cost of construction for the combined contract for the Potawatomi County Sheriff's Office expansion project for April 27, 2021 at 10 a.m. and approve publication of notice of public hearing.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay.
I'll second it.
Supervisor Shea. Discussion. Hearing,
How many bids did we get?
we don't, we won't.
Are we,
Hasn't even been put out for bid yet.
I know, but
Is that what we're
everything's all
doing?
prepped?
Yeah.
Who's the, engineer on this, HDR?
DLR.
DLR. Where are they at today?
I'm not sure what your question is.
They didn't make it today?
No. It's my understanding this is just, again, to get permission to continue moving forward.
Have you reviewed do they have plans for review?
They do, yes.
Have you reviewed them?
I have not. Not the most recent.
Did you get a motion?
Yeah, I got a motion by,
I motion.
Schultz and seconded by Shea. Any other discussion? Just a public notice for the public hearing. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. Hearing none, motion passes. Okay, Suzanne Watson, Director of Community Service, discussion and decision to approve and authorize chairman to sign 2021 Pot County Housing Trust Fund and grant agreement between Pot County General Assistance Fund and the Pot County Housing Trust Fund, Inc.
Yeah, so this is a continuation of the grant that we were approved for last year, which was $25,000. This year it's $20,000. Just a quick update, this provides deposits and first month's rent for rental assistance for people, which is something we don't do in general assistance. So far this year, we've been able to provide 22 households with an income, household income of 0 to 30% median family income, and 2 households with 30 to 50%. And we've got $8,861 remaining to distribute before November, and this starts Then on October 31st for $20,000, we'll be doing the same thing.
What was that, number 8,000?
We have $8,861 remaining to distribute before basically October 31st.
So if, you don't distribute who gets it back or what happens to it?
I don't know if it rolls over into the next year's, but we think we'll use it. It won't be an issue.
Okay.
So this
And-
year's is $5,000 less.
Yeah, was that last year, the first year we ever got it then?
Yep. Yeah, it's first year we applied.
Oh, first year you applied. And you're applying to the Iowa Finance Authority, or who do you?
Yeah,
apply-
so it's through the Potawatomi County Housing Trust Fund.
Okay,
So they put out a grant every year, and this was just one of the things that we were able to do. And it's worked out nicely with general assistance, because like I said, we only provide rent to folks once they have someplace established. So this was just one of those places that we saw there was a need and.
right. Was that a maximum amount, the 25 you got the first year, or?
Yeah, so they determined the amount. This year, I believe we put in for 25 again, and they approved 20. So it just depends on what other grants they're funding.
Sure. Okay,
I'll make the motion to approve the chairman to sign
Alright.
Potawatomi County Housing
I
Trust
would
Fund.
second that.
okay, Supervisor Schultz, second Supervisor Shea. Any other discussion?
Yeah, Suzanne, do those grant dollars have to be spent on rental assistance if it's going to the, it's coming from the Potawatomi County Housing Trust Fund? They are the recipient of the grant. So, none of those funds can be used to help someone with a furnace installation or air conditioning and that does those stuff. Can't use those funds for that?
No.
All right, thank you.
No, and we have to actually approve, every time we get an application, we have to send it to them for approval as well, so.
For the rental?
We gotta do,
How
yeah,
fast does that turn
the
around?
paperwork. Pretty quick,
Okay.
yeah.
So
It hasn't been an issue.
It was rent.
Yeah.
Okay, any other questions? Well, we'd have those two other organizations that would do, assuming they qualify, which it sounds like they would, that would do the furnaces and those types of things, so. That would be Swiftco and.
Yeah, West Central Development, and, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure that, well, I don't want to get in that discussion. You're correct, Scott.
Okay. Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. Hearing none, motion passes. Okay, Jason Slack, Buildings and Grounds, CRO 53 exhaust fan 1 conflict.
Well, this will probably be one of our last change orders, I'm guessing, but basically there's a discrepancy between what size exhaust fan motor. The electrical print specified the 110 volt and the mechanical print specified the 208 three-phase fan, so this is the cost difference for that.
So you're putting in the higher voltage.
Yeah, the three-phase, yep.
That's your recommendation, Jason?
Yep.
I'll make that motion.
Where's that going at?
This is for the bathrooms.
Okay,
It's on the roof of the.
Yep,
the
yep.
big
Second.
okay, Supervisor Woodman, Supervisor Schultz. Any other discussion? That was for 12. Is that for $12,078.90?
No, $1,304.48.
$1,304.48. You got that? Okay. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, like sign, hearing none, motion passes. Okay. Update, discussion on canceled change orders pertaining to courthouse project.
So basically, when we found out the upcharges that Ronco was wanting the county to pay for them staying longer to complete all these change orders, we asked Ronco to cancel everything. And it looked like we were pretty successful in doing that. So we canceled the leak detection in the call center, the painting of stairwell S1, which is on the east side of the B wing. The storage room 013 to an office, we canceled that one. Some hardware changes on door 018 in the call center. We canceled the repair of the waste lines that we found. And then a closet exhaust fan that was supposed to vent the IT closet on the second floor. So certainly these needed to be done, and we still intend on doing them. We're just gonna go about it a different way. We're gonna go get bids on our own and get the work done.
Can we do any in-house?
Oh yeah, we do whatever we can in-house. Yep.
So, the waste lines are the drain lines of is that off the roof or? what
No, these are the 4-inch cast iron pipe
Right.
that we were talking
is it?
about.
Exactly.
So we've already repaired one of them, the main one that I was concerned about.
Okay.
The ceiling is gonna go below. That one's done. It took Ray Martin part of a day to do, so I don't expect that bill to be too crazy high.
Okay.
Our next one is tackling that one by the drinking fountain on the first floor.
Okay. So those items that you listed off, are you getting some bids or
Yeah.
the ones that you can handle internally or you're not?
The call center leak detection, I've asked Ray Martin to go ahead. Their bid was $12,485 to do that work. I told him go ahead and get the material ordered so we can get that done.
Okay.
We do have money in the basement renovation fund that we had back in 2018, some money that we need to spend on the basement. So that's where that money's coming from to do that work.
Okay.
The stairwell S1 painting, DeCenzo's finishing up that work today. So that'll be done.
Okay.
And that was actually $1,200 cheaper than what the Ronco bid was, so.
Okay.
The storage room, 013 office, I'm working with Lieutenant Arkfeld on getting that habitable as an office. So, and we're moving ahead with the hardware changes on that door 018. We're doing work on that today.
Okay.
So, we're moving forward with all of these.
Okay. Sounds good.
Hold on, what, you said you're gonna make an office habitable, that's not the same one we talked about last week, right?
Well, it was the one that we denied it, I believe.
You asked us tonight.
But it was supposed to be a storage room off of the call center. Sam wants to utilize it as an office. And that involved putting a drop ceiling in there, putting in another heat exchanger in the floor and carpet. And I think there was some data drops and some lighting changes that we had to do in there. So
Now we're revisiting that?
she's still gonna use that as an office, so we've already got the carpet put in there instead of the hard floor. I've got Johnson Drywall getting us a bid on putting just a drop ceiling in there. We'll do the lighting in-house for that. And I think that'll be, pretty close to what it needs to be for an office, once we get done with that part.
What happened with that, Justin, is when we put the design together, we had Bob Anderson and Rob Ambrose do the design on that. That was the office that Rob thought he had to have, not Rob, Sam thought he had to have was set up for Angie. And so that changed that, and then this other room is I wouldn't even call it a glorified storage room. So, yeah, we're gonna have to give Angie an office, we have to renovate that, so. Not real crazy about it, but it is what it is.
What kind of money we got in?
In that office,
Yeah.
I haven't got any money in it yet. So numbers should be coming in for the drop ceiling
Okay.
and then the lighting. I can put together a list of what the cost is for that if you wanna know,
Yeah.
once I know
I'd
the
like to
numbers. Yep.
Okay. Any other questions on that? Okay, update, discussion on cancel change orders pertaining to courthouse renovation. That's the same thing again. This is, says, Jason Slack, who's going to appear before the board to provide an update on a discussion, the demolition plan for the services building, discussion only. I guess is what we're supposed to be having there.
So, we've been diving deep into, how we're gonna get the services building demolished. I've got bids for the asbestos abatement. Low bid for the abatement was $32,311. I got 3 bids. Building demolition, I only had 2 bids come in for that. The low bid.
What were the other 2 bids that you had for the 32?
The other 2, ABC abatement was $49,934.
Okay,
McGill asbestos abatement was $41,480.
okay. Thank you.
I got 2 bids for the building demolition, one from Pietzmeyer. It was $122,220.
Pietzmeyer, who's that?
Pietzmeyer Demolition, they're a pretty good sized company out of Omaha.
Not heard of them before, but go.
Yeah.
And then Jim's Hauling was low bid at $98,774.
What were those first 2 bids for?
Asbestos?
The first 3 bids were for the asbestos abatement, and the second 2 were for the building demolition in itself. So we're about,
You see Tinley?
No, did you do that?
Oh, yeah, it's real good. Did a great job.
so we're about $130,000 roughly for the abatement and the demo on the services building. So we're in the process right now, getting IT set up in their space. We'll be moving them tomorrow, through the rest of the week. Then we'll move on to community services and conservation, HR, and risk management, the following week. So, we've got our work cut out there, just getting people physically moved out of the services building and into the B wing. Buildings and grounds is gonna move into, with the board's permission, the basement storage room. There's a large storage room in the basement, next to the mechanical room in the B wing. It's not spoken for yet. I was planning on using that space temporarily until the addition is done. And then, I was gonna put the recorder's books in the smaller storage room in the basement. Only because
Did you keep the recorder's books?
we do, they're historical documents. I mean, and we don't have
Digitized, you have to keep them still?
I would say that there's probably a good argument that they're historical. So, with a lack of a better place to keep those things, I hate to move them temporarily into a storage container, not knowing what the moisture and humidity and stuff is gonna be in one of those things. We have a smaller storage room in the basement, in the B wing. I'd like to set up some shelving in there. I need to talk with the recorder's office and see about how we're gonna purchase shelving for those books and get all those books transferred into the basement of the B wing. And then the rest of the storage in the services building will be kept in shipping containers down at the VA lot until we get the addition done. So that's my plan for getting the services building vacated.
So will there be any room left in the storage downstairs for, our ballot stock and envelopes?
The basement would be spoken for at that point, so, your stuff would probably be either in a storage container or at the elections building, one or the other, or, yeah, and that's pretty much our only option. Public health, we're gonna put them in the annex building on the first floor, once we get the 911 staff moved out. And then Garfield and Jake will be moved out of there too, so that'll leave space for public health in the first floor of the annex.
Okay, so I gotta ask this question, because Jenna brought it up in discussion outside of here, and I'm really curious now too. If you're gonna move stuff over to the parking lot, and Connex is over there at the VA, and we're gonna be tearing this building down, and there's probably 30-some parking spots or so over there, right? Where are those people gonna park? Where are we moving them to?
That's my next thing I was gonna get to. Is there any way we can utilize that lot next to the elections building for parking? you know.
Why would we put our connexes there and not take up parking stalls?
Well, we can do that too, yeah. I mean, I guess I didn't think about that. I was kind of thinking about keeping them on concrete, but we can definitely do that too, so, yeah.
What about security on those?
Security, they would be padlocked. We could put temporary cameras on them, need be. That's about what we would have.
My
And
next question is moisture.
moisture, we'd have to get desiccant packages and put them in each container. That's supposed to absorb any moisture in the container. We did that when we did the second floor renovation, and that stuff was in a container for quite a few months, and we did all right with it, I believe, so.
Are we continuing with the shredding of what we can?
We had already held 2 shredding days. We got rid of a whole bunch of stuff. There was a couple departments that hadn't got back to me yet on the shredding. We're gonna definitely have another shredding day, at least one more. So we're trying to get rid of as much stuff as possible, so we're not.
We got rid of half or a third, or what do you think?
I wouldn't go that far. We got rid of quite a bit.
There's a lot over
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, and there's furniture too that we need to get out of there, so.
I've got a guy coming in tomorrow to get a bid on scanning those personnel records on second floor, and we'll see what that does. I mean, hopefully they could take that off-site to do those scannings of the payroll and personnel records.
Did we talk about that? I feel like we've talked about that a couple times, but we weren't comfortable with them taking them off-site? Is that?
Right, but I think, well, we'd have to talk to him, but I think they've done hospitals and schools and are HIPAA compliant in their processes, so. We'll have to
As
double
far as
check
the
on that.
scanning being offsite, or?
Yeah, so they take all the personnel records with them,
Right.
scan them, and then probably shred them from there possibly. So instead of them being here, scanning them, which I see the complexities, right, I see why it's easier for them to take them, but I feel like last time we've had this conversation, we weren't comfortable with them
Yeah.
leaving
Yeah.
our buildings.
No, and this other gentleman was in a couple of years ago, talking about scanning. He says, yeah, they've done,
Well, we wouldn't
hospitals are,
pay
you know,
somebody
they're
to stand
concerned
over there
about
and
us.
watch them do it, would we? Whether they
Like,
do- whether-
at their facilities?
Well, whether they do it here or there,
No.
I mean.
No, because how many of those personnel files do you think that they've
yeah,
got scanned? Because they were working
there are there.
on that, right? And Candy, you've helped out with
Well,
that.
they've
How much do you
got-
think is left?
Well, in the back room here, they've got all that scanned, but we had a part-timer doing it,
Yeah.
and some of the quality isn't quite right. Some of the files were misfiled, and I don't know, we'll have to go through everything and get it straightened out, or whether they can as they scan it. Just as an example, we have Brian Loomis and Sean Loomis. Some of Sean Loomis's stuff got filed with Brian Loomis's.
Okay.
Little things like that.
What do you need from us, Jason, to help you?
I don't think I need anything. I just want to make sure that the plan is okay with you guys, that, you know, that we're working towards. I do think it would be beneficial though, if we could get parking next to the election building and maybe on the backside of that alley it's closer for employees to walk, you know what I mean? It's something to think about, and I don't know what the city's gonna say about that.
Why don't we talk to that church across the street too, and see what it costs to lease it? Cause I think they like rent spots to people during the week or something.
They do. I know, HGM is $30 a month is what they get.
Church is $30 a month.
I mean, maybe we just see what it would cost to lease X number of spots at each one, give us an idea of what those numbers are. You need to figure out exactly how many parking spots are there, which I'm sure you have on the computer somewhere.
The city allowed us temporarily to do that. How many years ago was that? When we built the
That's when we built the VA
VA
building.
building?
Yoakum was going to spend $150,000 to pave it.
Who was?
Yoakum, it was that
Okay.
long ago. Then he had to use the 150 to finish the VA building, so
Yeah,
he just put rock on it.
well, but we had to get some,
And then we had to take the rock up
right,
and
the
reseed it.
rock went to conservation.
Could be.
But I can't remember how long they let us temporarily do that lot, so I don't know. if that's up.
What kind of time we looking for demolition?
Well, I don't have a time frame yet. We have a lot of work to do till we get to that point. I'm hoping June.
What,
Start to tear down in June or be done?
That's what I'm shooting for. Yep.
what
He
would
moved
the,
pretty quick.
What's that?
He'll move pretty quick.
Yeah, they did Tinley in a month, 2 months maybe. Just
He
pretty
had
quick.
to wait on the footings for a little bit, but other than that.
Will you have community services out of there by June?
Community services will be out of there next week.
what, and you probably don't know you probably don't know the answer to this, but, say, so the recorders at the bigger counties, not that we're not a big county, but Polk and Lynn or Woodbury, what they're doing, are their buildings that much bigger where they store all the recording for the recorder's office?
The recorder's books in Lynn County are stored in probably Iron Mountain over in Chicago. They're, because they got flooded. So they're sealed and hermetically sealed so they don't rot.
So do they need to be stored on site then, or do they have to just be stored?
I don't believe they have to be stored on site. I think at one time Mark Brandenburg was looking at maybe getting some space in that Pace building for some of the
Yeah,
books.
but I don't think
Well,
that's
they asked him about it and then he said, well, I've got 700 books. And they thought maybe he had 15 or something.
Okay.
How many parking spots are across the street, Jason?
In the services building?
Yeah.
I don't have that number. I can get it for you, Tim.
Those are all county employees that are parking over there, right?
Yes.
We're not gonna do away with every one of them, correct? I mean,
Well, you know,
temporary.
the bad thing about it is, once they start doing the demo on the services
Right.
building, I don't think anybody's gonna be able to park in that lot.
That's right.
Because there's gonna be a perimeter around the building where they're doing the work.
Sure.
And the only way in and out is that, that one
Oh, okay.
place on the north side
All right,
there,
I
so.
understand now.
Marguerite had I don't know how many over there that she was trying to pedal in that lot to the south. So we may be able to pick up whatever, 8 or so there.
I think Jason figured it out. I guess just let us know what you need from us to keep it going. I think you're moving in the right direction. Tim, I mean, everything you're saying so far seems pretty in line with what we planned on. I mean, 98,000 is a low bid to tear that thing down, plus 32 for the asbestos, and you're still under what we thought it would cost to demo it, so. I think we put a 200 on the list or
I
something
thought
like
it was, I left my.
No, it's a little more than this, unless we change the numbers.
I thought it was 150.
It's,
I had a picture they took.
demo,
When was that?
it's right here. Mass.
Will anybody be moving into where conservation is vacating?
The public health probably will be in that area,
Oh,
just temporarily.
Two stories.
Over here,
Yeah.
are we moving anybody off the top
We
floor?
updated.
You know what,
GIS?
this was.
No, I know.
Not yet,
I'm
they'll
just
be in
saying
the
this
addition.
is-
We still have room in that whole.
Okay.
place,
No, I know.
So we're okay.
Yeah,
Jason, I got a question.
Mhm.
If we got storage issues, can we use some of that building for that in the future?
The annex building? That's a possibility that we had talked about. I don't know that we've ever made a decision on what the future of the annex building is.
I mean, we gotta keep these historic records and stuff. Even if we cut half it off or something, I don't know.
That's currently one of the items that is in the, capital improvement plan that we put together a couple of years ago, was to
Okay,
alter the annex for storage.
okay,
That was, as I said, that was 2 years ago.
right.
We haven't had a department head retreat since then. We've never had any other discussion since then, so it's,
that may be part of the answer.
Yeah.
it's certainly a topic for discussion.
Yeah, we've got a couple of concepts of what could be done over there. It's just-
Okay. I mean,
Really, we need to just
hauling
get the
this stuff
departments,
around.
and the reality is they need to get stuff they don't need, needs to be gone.
That's correct.
So, and we've been saying this for 2 years, and here we are, and there's still stuff people haven't touched. So it's time to get moving. But Jason, I think you've got a good plan going. I think you just need to let us know what you need, and we'll help you get it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jason. Have a good day.
So that, just before you leave, Jason.
Yep.
So, how many of them containers are we talking about?
I haven't counted them up yet, Scott. What I'm thinking is we're probably gonna get the smaller containers that are half the size of the ones that are sitting out there now.
Okay.
And hopefully that's gonna be enough, one per department is kind of what I'm thinking.
Okay. Okay, and then you're gonna inventory all the parking stalls
Yep.
that we have and such.
Yes.
Give us a total number and try to work back from there.
Yep.
Okay. Sounds good, thank you.
Thank you.
You're gonna be back
Yeah,
for,
I'll be right back.
okay. Discussion and or decision to authorize chairman to sign grant agreement with Iowa West Foundation for the purpose of providing grant funding for the 2021 Cities Program Recapitalization Program.
Second.
Okay, Supervisor Wickman.
There was a deadline on March 30th on that, Scott. Are you, we made contact with Iowa West, they know it's coming.
Yeah, I talked to him, oh shoot. What was that? I don't know, it's maybe 2 weeks ago now.
Okay, perfect.
Second by Supervisor Schultz. The new gal, who's the new gal?
Brenda Mainwaring.
No, well, I
Paul
talked
Lindquist.
to, God, that name doesn't sound right either.
Anyway,
Whoever Diane, DeVou's still there, but this must be Deb's underling or something?
I have no idea.
Okay.
It's cities funds for, I think there was
Three
cities.
Yep, there was,
Just to get pass through for the funds.
Yep, Neola, Oakland, and Underwood.
Yep.
Yep,
All right.
okay, they got, 50,000 to Neola, 54,000 to Oakland, and 84,000 to, Underwood to help the existing sewer system for more housing. So, okay. No more discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, discussion and or decision to approve the authorization of chairman to sign purchase order lease government product lease agreement and Y-Way program agreement with Quantient Inc. for 5 years for an upgraded postage machine and folding machine.
Mr. Hauser, do you need a new folding machine?
We've been using conservations for our mailings.
So is this coming out of your budget then?
I didn't put that on the agenda.
This
That's
is used
one of
by
my
everybody, isn't it?
The postage machine is used by everybody. Andrew's in charge of the postage machine. Although it's kept in our kitchen. So, but it's,
I mean, one of the same, it's folding, or is that a separate machine?
well, I think the folding machines is probably
It's
a separate one.
Oh, it is. Okay, I didn't-
We don't have one now, right? Conservation has one, but there isn't one with that postage. So this would be adding one? Adding a
Apparently,
folding machine?
I don't know who put
I
this.
think, I really think you guys and conservation are the only ones that have big mailings. I mean, HR, we don't mail things to employees anymore. So I
Well,
think
Lee would be the only
Lee
other
would have
one.
some too, yeah.
Well,
that's-
she's
yeah.
got her own postage machine, and whether she has a folding machine or
Table this
not.
one until we figure it out.
Absolutely. I'll
I,
second that.
I think that's a good idea.
Well, you've seen, the comments from legal too, right? Everybody? Did they see those?
No, the legal?
Yeah, Leanne sent those.
you guys an
Oh,
email
yeah, I'm
Friday.
sorry.
Okay.
Yeah. So does she have a folding machine next door?
I don't know, do you want me to do some research on this postage folding machine?
What?
Or would you like Andrew to do
I
that?
was gonna say, should we have Andrew just come in and see where that came from? Or was it just a throw into the thing? There wasn't much change in the price, if I remember right?
Well, it's probably, the lease is probably up.
Right, the lease is up.
Okay, so, but why the folding machine come into,
Automatic document holder plus mail feeder. Maybe it's part of one of the same thing. You want me to get Andrew real quick?
Yep, might help us.
No? There he is. Geez, speak of the devil.
he's been watching you guys.
Is that all one deal?
Yeah, so the folding machine is the one that conservation currently has that is supposed to be used by everyone in the county.
Okay.
But it sounds like no one knows conservation had it. So when it moves back over here, we're thinking we'll get more use out of it.
Okay.
So that's,
It's one of the same.
yeah, the
Okay.
conservation one's on the current lease.
Okay,
Is that the same company?
Yes.
okay. That makes complete sense. Does that satisfy?
That's fine. Motion approved.
No, okay, so I just wanna make sure.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion.
What do you wanna
by
make sure, Scott?
Schultz, Supervisor Schultz, and Supervisor Shea. Well, I just wanna make sure everybody was okay with, there was a couple things, that Leanne had, thought, I don't know, was it, the way it was, if we could change those, they wanted us to go to what, was it Delaware or whatever?
Oh, the venue, Connecticut?
Connecticut, and, I mean, do we normally not do that, or,
I don't think it's something they would agree to change, but
okay,
I just wanted to point out that if we ever get to a point where we're in a lawsuit, you guys get to pay me to go to Connecticut.
okay.
Make it in the fall when foliage is pretty.
We'll hire somebody out there.
Okay, so, this is the same company that got bought out by a different one, is that?
Yeah, I think when the lease was signed 5 years ago, it was Claridis, and then Neopost bought Claridis, and now Quadient has bought Neopost or whoever.
Okay,
But it's still, it's the same company that
that we've been
the
dealing
current
with.
lease is with.
Okay. And the other machine is in pretty bad shape, right?
The touchscreen goes out, and I think just the life cycle on those, I mean, it's a 5-year-old machine, and the amount of use it gets, it just needs upgraded every so often.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Andrew.
Yep.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. Hearing none, motion passes. Okay, Jana Limerick, Human Resource Discussion, sent to approve job description for epidemiologist.
So this job description we discussed last summer, and it was temporarily approved through COVID. So we're just making it official now, bringing the job description to you to officially post as a full-time position within the county.
For how long
This would be a permanent position.
do we need it?
We do need it, well, Matt and Maria, yes, they do need it.
What's the pay range on this?
It's a pay grade 523, so step one is 2679, going to 3330.
Do we have anybody in this position now?
We do not. It's a non-exempt position, so it's an hourly, eligible to earn overtime position.
Is that realistic? Like, are we gonna get this?
We think so. I mean, we did some research on this last summer when we were gonna post it, and then COVID kind of paused things, so it was just temporary. We think so. If we don't get the applicants we're looking for, I'll come back to the group and see if we need to raise that.
So, and I understand their role probably in a pandemic and such. What is their role then? Is there other, or do they do outreach, and what else do they do, I guess?
Oh,
That would be an excellent, is Matt still out there? Matt, did you happen to see Matt out there?
Yeah, he's sitting, he's
Sit in
sitting
the board's
in,
office when they grab him.
no, he's sitting in our office there, that's fine.
You gonna grab 'em or
I
not?
just,
Yeah.
no, well, yeah, that's fine. So this would go into the, has this gone to the Board of Health then, I take it, or not?
Yes.
Comes out of their budget.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it'd come out of the health,
It comes out of Matt's budget.
well, the health.
Yeah.
One of,
Right.
oh, yeah, he's there, okay. Okay.
Is this job description much different from Maria's?
It is different from Maria's, yes. I mean, this position does a lot of, I mean, I know it's already in that first sentence, but investigating and analytical information, tracking data, using that data to come up with interventions and how to control things.
Okay, so
This
just,
person serves, I'm sorry,
go ahead.
serves as the lead in the public health emergency preparedness activities. Isn't that Maria's job?
Well, I think that's an excellent question. When you say lead, would it be like Matt, Maria, epidemiologist? Like if you were gonna rack and stack them?
So approving this does not mean we're hiring it, or is that what the next step is here?
That would be the next step, yes. So if you approve this today, I would want to post it today. Hi, Matt.
He's here.
Sorry, I was in the B-wing.
We're talking about the epidemiologist,
Yes.
and we were curious,
How it intersects with Maria's.
I guess we just need once over world from you on what this is about, why we want it, why you need it, what their job's gonna be when the pandemic's over.
So COVID-19 is, while that's one thing, one piece of the disease investigations that has, polarized and come to the top, normal operations of what go on is hepatitis B comes in, Legionnaire's disease comes in, all of those other types of illnesses, whether it's foodborne or bloodborne, something like that happening. Currently, what we had been using is our public health nurses to follow up on those. In last year's budget proposal, I had budgeted in there to have this position added on. So it is needed within the realm of what we do for public health. And they will not only be doing disease investigations, but they work with our pools, tannings, and tattoos to go through and do the inspections of those facilities and help out our environmental health inspectors on those. So it's not something that the person would have a whole lot of spare time on their hands. I mean, they're definitely gonna be busy with what we have going on. Right now, yes, a lot of their focus would be towards COVID-19, but I think it was just last week when we got in 2 hepatitis B cases, and then it was probably 3 weeks before that. We've gotten in quite a bit of Shigella, and then we had more hepatitis B the week before. So all of those different cases that come across require follow-up investigation by somebody from our department.
And I don't know if you know, were they using a third party to do that over at the city for those instances,
No, they would use their public health nurses, would follow up on it. It's something you could, it takes a nurse away, those public health nurses, it takes them away from their daily piece of what they do. And so do they enjoy it? They enjoy it a little bit, but with where we are with public health in Potawatomi County, we really need them focusing on the nursing aspect of what they're doing and not getting pulled away for disease investigations.
So this will be a new position. mainly brought on because of COVID?
No, it was planned prior to COVID.
You felt the need for this position 2 years ago when you took over a public?
It was a year after that, yes. And if it's something that the Board of Supervisors, right, and if you want to put it, you want to say it's on kind of a trial basis to see where it goes, you know, those, part of the stimulus package that we're getting, we are available to fund some public health positions until through 2023. Then we can put this one on there, and, you know, I do have a couple of different positions that I would like to add to public health through that time to get us lifted up where we need to be. I mean, we're still at 90th out of 99 counties in public health outcomes. We have one of the smallest public health departments in the state. We're covering one of the largest counties of it. And I think this funding opportunity is gonna give us a chance to really kind of boost some efforts up. It's not saying that all of those positions would have to carry on, but this is, I think, one of the positions that I would like to be able to see carry on, just based on the case influxes that we see.
So this could be, end up being epidemiologist slash community outreach or some other duties as assigned then?
There is community outreach involved in their position, but we have a community health outreach coordinator.
Okay.
But they would be involved in health fairs and going to the colleges and going to the schools and talking to them about different public health initiatives that are within their specialities.
Pay range, I mean, I asked Jana this before you got here, but I mean, are you confident you're gonna get someone at that pay range?
Yeah, I think we will. I think we're gonna get somebody that's gonna be kind of fresh out of school, hopefully, excited to, you know, get some new opportunities. That's really what we're here for. This might not be somebody it might not be an epidemiologist who's been in, seasoned and, you know, has built up a lot of experience, but public health is notoriously one of those areas where people come to right after college to gain some experience and move on.
Are you happy with this job description, Matt?
I am.
I'll make a motion to approve the job description for the
I'll second that.
Okay, motion by Supervisor Wickman, second by Supervisor. Is this, just a 4-year degree typically for this, what is there? Do you get a degree in epidemiologist?
Or public health,
Yeah,
right?
Public health, same thing?
you can get a degree specific into epidemiology.
Okay, it's 4 years basically.
master's degree preferred, that's what it says in the job description.
Right.
When will you hire?
Right now, I mean, we'll post it. It's not saying that we're gonna get any applicants, but we'll certainly give it a chance. I mean, everybody's hiring for epidemiologists right now, and, I mean, for the last year, they've been probably employed and paid rather well, so.
Yeah, that's kind of why I asked that question. And then if you're asking for a master's degree preferred, that's also another reason why I'm asking the question. I think
Yeah,
maybe
I don't know that we'll
hard
get
pressed to
someone
get
with a
someone less than
master's degree.
$75,000.
Masters will be
Yeah.
more money, wouldn't it?
And if you do get it, I'm a little concerned about the quality you're gonna get.
Are they,
Graduations are coming up though. Hopefully we'll catch some kid.
So you think first of fiscal year you'll put someone on?
Well, hopefully before then, but.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
we'll
mean,
probably post it tomorrow.
It wouldn't be an increase to anything that we're doing now.
Okay.
so do you have any, and I should know this, any interaction with the jail then at all?
We do quite a bit down at the jail.
Okay,
We do STD testing down at the jail.
so this person would be potentially,
Say that they had an outbreak of something going on down at the jail, yes, this person would go in there and track down what's going on.
okay. Okay, any other discussions?
What degree do they need from college?
They just need a bachelor's degree, but, you know, in a job description, we do say master's is preferred, so we're gonna
What would
get.
it be?
It could be in public health or epidemiology.
Okay, any other discussion?
You
I really
question the
think
pay
we need to do the
range?
pay structure. I really think that's gonna be under where you're gonna want to get.
I'm hoping that what you're seeing right now is just a peak kind of in these things, even with our nurses, our nursing, when you look at what area-wide we're under, but we're not, we don't have the luxury of what the health systems have, being able to offer bonuses and things like that they're doing. I mean, it's
You're
pretty
speaking things to my
significant.
point. I mean, I really think you need to look at the next pay grade up, because if you're gonna get competitive and try to get someone that is that higher quality, I mean, I don't disagree, like pulling someone out of school is a great thing. I mean, it's possible we might be able to get someone that's awesome, but you're also seriously running the risk of someone who really doesn't know what they're doing yet, and I mean, they might have learned the concept in school, but
Well, what we have available to them is every district in Iowa has a field epidemiologist that's from the state. And so that state person does do a lot of training with local individuals to help them along.
So when we just do a job search for epidemiologists, you have one, this is a remote job, so $28 an hour. State of Wyoming, $25 an hour.
Wyoming, there's.
Michigan starts at 58,000. Now, there's one in Washington DC, and that's 97,000. That one's quite high. Austin, Texas, 35.20 a month, whatever that is, hourly. Houston, 45.38 a month. Wisconsin, $30.46. So we're not that far off.
Let's put it out there and see what we get. I like your thought of graduations. That's coming.
Okay. No further discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. Hearing none, motion passes. Okay, job description for finance and
coming in,
tax
Matt.
officer.
So this is
Stick
the,
around, Matt,
Yeah, are you guys gonna do that closed session
Yeah.
first?
and then after that, if you could be around a little bit.
We're gonna ruin your lunch, don't worry.
No, we weren't gonna go that long. Go ahead.
this is the job description that we discussed last Tuesday. The job description itself has not changed. It's the same job description. We've put a pay range on there of a pay grade of 528, which is $32.14 for step one, going to $39.70. Otherwise, the rest of the job description is the same.
I had Jana put this back on, and then last Friday I did a little more research and got some Attorney General's opinions and looked at our handbook policy. And according to the Attorney General's opinion, well, according to the handbook policy, it says job descriptions shall be adopted by the Board of Supervisors. And several other things within our handbook policy says changes in departments with regard to classifications and staffing shall be approved by the Board of Supervisors. There's a lot of shalls in here. Then I called Christy Harshbarger at ISAC and asked if there was any Attorney General's opinions, and she did send to me Attorney General's opinions. It says, county supervisors lack authority to require another elected county officer to comply with their comprehensive hiring policy and may not unreasonably refuse to approve any appointments made by other elected county officers. So it really didn't need to be put on an agenda, I think. And I questioned Jana whether several weeks ago, whether it should be put on the agenda. Of course, she's used to working with department heads and thought that it should be within her realm, but it really doesn't need to be put on the agenda and approved or denied by the supervisors because you lack authority over on who I hire for my office. Am I correct, Matt?
As far as job descriptions, yeah, I think you are.
but the board is in charge of setting salaries and pay, and that's a second issue. So obviously, job description is be very helpful, I think, for the board in making those decisions. So, I mean, I look at it as, you know, I mean, I've got union and non-union employees, for example, in my office. And so I frequently will say, well, I might want to let my non-union employees go home early on Christmas Eve. And the board, you know, has said you can't do that with union employee or as union. I'm like, that's true. I can't because they control those employees through collective bargaining. For my non-union folks, I always say, well, they're my employees. They're not the board's employees. That said, the board obviously sets budget and the board is required by code to fix compensation. And I know we've gone through all this wage study stuff, so, I mean, if the board's not inclined to approve it, then I think you've got a fight on your hands. If they're inclined to approve it, then who cares? You know, if they say we're gonna approve what you want, then I'd say you don't have a fight.
There was just one other statement in here, and I'm trying to find it, where it did say, you're right, Melvin, in what you said, but then it later did say that the board determines how many of each position.
The board determines, the board can determine the number of.
You know which one I'm talking about? The number
In the
of.
policy or in the Attorney General's
No,
opinion?
it's in the Attorney General's opinion.
They can, if I'm correct, I think they can determine the number of deputies for.
No, it
various
said,
offices.
it listed deputies, assistants, and clerks. And I'm sorry, I'm trying to find that statement. Because as I was reading through this, right, and then it was interesting that it would say that the board doesn't have say, but yet the board does have to determine how many you can have. So if you wanted 5 accounting technicians, and probably through the budget, right, the board could say, well, you can have 3. But I'm trying to find that statement.
I did not see that one.
I think, Jenny, you're looking, I don't know what the letter, but the code section would be 331, 323. And I'm trying to get the, like, sub 2, sub G says the board may establish the number of deputies, assistants, and clerks for the offices of auditor, treasurer, recorder, sheriff, and county attorney.
Yep, that's one that I was looking for. Thank you.
So I guess that brings my question, you know, at one point I heard this was gonna be a 4th deputy for your office. Is that
No,
what I'm hearing?
we can hear whatever you want, but no, I hadn't.
I'm asking a question, Melvin, I'm not asking.
No, I wasn't gonna hire that person as a deputy, but in the future, it may be. And those deputies can be approved and unapproved as the officer sees fit.
You know, I am not going to vote to approve this because I know what, I anticipate Melvin just going out and hiring somebody. We brought on a very capable budget director that can handle some of those tasks, I believe. And I think, given time, maybe we can reassess whether this position even needs to be there. You know, I think that office's inability or, I don't know, inability of cross-training some of his employees to handle some other tasks other than one specific duty all day long, every day. And if one of those people are gone or quit or something, then no one else is capable of stepping in and doing that duty. So I just think we're premature in this. I would ask that the auditor consider giving it some time, maybe taking a look at his staff and see which one could come in and maybe learn something about the finance department. And we can address it June or July.
The only thing I think, you know, the word reasonable is pretty vague in code, and so when it goes to a legal matter, it's gonna be very difficult. I think the auditor's done a lot of homework on it, and I think we're gonna have a hard time arguing that it's not a reasonable request. So, I mean, I do think, you know, and just, this is my personal opinion, I think there's things you could be doing differently over there, but I'm not the auditor, so it doesn't matter.
That's a very good point. You're not the auditor.
But on the flip side of it, I guess, we have a responsibility of the budget, obviously, and we gotta be good stewards of what we do with our money, and, I'm not gonna fight you on this, I'm not gonna go against what your proposal is with this. But I do think that there's some gaps we need to work on between us and you, and I think we gotta figure those out. We not need to do it in public session, obviously, but I think,
Okay, yeah, I've invited you guys to come over anytime and chat and visit, and I know Tim was in yesterday, Brian sat in, Scotty's always over there, but,
And you made the comment that you thought about bringing one of your other employees in to maybe take a look at that. Now, all of a sudden, you're saying the board shall do this for you, so I don't know where you're at with anything, Melvin.
well, I don't
And I agree
either.
with Justin, I'm not the auditor, so I'm not telling you what to do.
Well, I think you are when you're, denying me I've told you this before, I've got 2 seats, vacant in my office. I'd like to at least fill one of them. And I know, Mitch is probably a sharp enough boy and young man, and he's going to probably do a lot of good work for you guys. And I want to get him on the phone with another budget director to see, I think he's gonna have his hands full with you folks. Between the budget and watching the spending and all the things that you guys need, you'll keep him busy, especially when you start this all these capital projects. And he's probably very dependable, but I can't rely on him to come in and work with Becky Lenahan and then get pulled away when you start a bonding project. Because I won't have any authority over him.
I'll make the motion to approve.
Thank you.
I'll second that.
Schultz made the motion. Shay seconded.
Can I ask the motion again?
What is
To
it?
approve the finance director position.
Supervisor Schultz made it and Supervisor Shay seconded it. This is, I guess, to maybe parallel what Becky Linehan is doing. I think she's done some admirable work given the circumstances, and I guess I'm hoping that she gets a valid chance to continue to improve, and maybe she becomes the person of choice. So, with that being said, any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
Okay, can we get a
Thank you,
motion
Jenna.
to go into closed session?
I'll make that motion to go to closed session, but I
Second.
also ask that we take a short recess
Okay.
before we go into it.
What are we gonna do? This is to go into closed section with county attorney and Jason Slack and grounds pursuant to Iowa Code 21.5, parent 1, parent J, for discussion and decision on purchase and sale of particular real estate. Matt, you're leaving?
Ian's got this one.
Oh, I'd like to have